Woke up. First thing, my eyes shot straight to the ceiling, checking the stick-it notes stuck there. To-do list for Emily, today. Seriously, it's my life now. A whole damn wall of them, colorful squares screaming tasks at me from above. It's what keeps my brain, this Swiss cheese memory of mine, from completely losing its marbles. My name's Emily Clark, by the way, 32, freelance graphic designer, living the dream, or what's left of it, out here in the quiet New York suburbs. Mostly work from home, which is good. Less chance of me forgetting where I parked my car, you know? Everything I do, it's all mapped out, from the morning coffee, to hitting a design deadline, to even just existing. It's all in my phone, plastered on the fridge, scribbled in a thick journal that practically counts as another limb. My short-term memory? Gone. Finito. Wiped clean after that goddamn accident 18 months ago. That's what I tell myself anyway. The car lost control. Late night, rain pouring on the highway, a violent crash, then nothing. Just a big, dark, blank space. That's the story I've pieced together. The one the doctors confirmed. A severe concussion. My understanding of everything. I try to keep it together. Really, I do. Put on a brave face, crack a joke here and there. Emily, you're fine. Just a little software glitch in the brain, I'd whisper to my reflection. But deep down, it's always there, this creeping dread. A cold, heavy feeling that I'm missing something big. Like a crucial piece of a puzzle got eaten by my broken memory. And it freaks me out. It always does. So, the morning routine. My eyes scanned the ceiling. 6 a.m., wake up. 6:15 a.m., bathroom. 6:30 a.m., coffee. I swung my legs out of bed a little too fast, and the world spun for a second. Damn it, need to take it easy. In the kitchen, the fridge door was another mosaic of notes. Breakfast, cereal. Don't forget your meds. Below it, a bright yellow one. Call mom, check journal for date. My mom worries, a lot. Which, fair enough, I guess. I shuffled to the bathroom, splashing cold water on my face. Looking in the mirror, there was another note. Pink, my designated self-affirmation color. Don't forget who you are, Emily, even if it's a mess. I couldn't help but snort. Oh, shut up, Emily, I muttered to my reflection. Stop being so philosophical before coffee, you dork. Sometimes I hate my past self for being so preachy. After coffee and a handful of pills I vaguely remembered the purpose of, I settled down at my desk. My workstation was organized, borderline obsessive actually. Every client project had its own folder, color-coded, labeled, sub-labeled, backed up 3 times. It was my defense against the void. No way I was going to forget a deadline. I plunged into a new branding project, the bright colors and clean lines a welcome distraction. Trying to keep my mind focused, pushing away the weird, fuzzy thoughts that sometimes tried to sneak in. The afternoon rolled around, and the sun was high. Time for my daily mental scan of the neighborhood. A walk. Gotta keep the brain active, right? And maybe, just maybe, I'd remember something. Anything. I grabbed my phone, checking my interaction prompts note. Mrs. Gable, ask about her rose garden. She loves talking about it. I even pre-planned small talk. Pathetic, I know, but it worked. Mrs. Gable was out front, pruning her prize-winning roses. Good afternoon, Mrs. Gable, I chirped, making sure my smile reached my eyes. Your roses are looking absolutely lovely today. Have you tried that new organic fertilizer you mentioned? She beamed, launching into a detailed explanation of her gardening secrets. I nodded along, making mental and almost physical, damn it, gotta write it down later. Just normal, Emily. See? You're totally normal. As I walked back, a weird flicker hit me, like a faulty light bulb in my head. A dark alley, blaring sirens, loud enough to make my ears ring, and a blur of a figure, running, fast. It was so vivid, so real. For a second, then it was gone, leaving only a lingering feeling of unease. My hands started to feel a little clammy. Ugh, come on, Emily, I mumbled, shaking my head. Probably just watched too many true crime documentaries last night. My brain's getting clogged with junk. Total nonsense. I pushed it down, burying the image under a pile of rational explanations. My brain was a mess, that's all. Back inside, I decided to make some tea. While the kettle was boiling, I started tidying up my desk, putting away stray pencils and loose papers. My hand brushed against something cold, metallic. I pulled it out. A key. Not just any key, either. It was old, tarnished, definitely not one of mine. It had this intricate carving on the handle, a swirling pattern that I couldn't quite make sense of. Like vines, maybe? Or something else, something sharper. My fingers traced the cold metal. "What the hell is this?" I whispered. I tried it on the front door, the back door, the shed, even my old bicycle lock. Nothing. Didn't fit anything. I even dug through my miscellaneous stuff drawer. You know, the one with random buttons, old receipts, and that tiny piece of twisted metal I kept from the accident. Nope, no matching lock. The key felt out of place. It had no business being here. My chest tightened. It wasn't just a random key, was it? It felt important. But why couldn't I remember it? A sudden wave of frustration washed over me. "Damn it, Emily," I sighed, dropping the key into a small empty box on my desk. Another brain fart. Just put it away, you'll figure it out later. Later usually meant never, though, and I knew it. Later that night, as I was getting ready for bed, brushing my teeth, I looked in the bathroom mirror, and there it was, a bright neon blue stick-it note, right smack in the middle of the glass. Not my usual pinks, yellows, or oranges. This was alien. My system was strict. Blue wasn't a color I used. 2 words, written in a hurried, messy scrawl that definitely wasn't mine. "Find cat." My toothbrush clattered into the sink. My heart started to beat a little faster, a frantic drum against my ribs. I don't own a cat, do I? I racked my brain, tried to pull up any memory. Nothing. Just a blank. A big, scary blank. The letters seemed to swim on the paper, mocking me. The bathroom suddenly felt too small. The air felt thick, heavy. I felt a cold shiver run down my spine, even though the heating was on. My hands trembled as I slowly reached for the note, pulling it off the mirror. The sticky residue felt weird. "Find cat," I whispered, the words tasting strange in my mouth. What the hell is going on? The silence of the house pressed in, suddenly not comforting at all. It felt like it was holding its breath. And I knew, deep down, that something was terribly, terribly wrong. The "find cat" note, that damn note. It was still clutched in my hand, crumpled now, but the words screamed just as loud. "Find cat." I don't have a cat. I've never had a cat. My apartment complex doesn't even allow pets, for crying out loud. My brain, this broken Swiss cheese mess, usually just shrugged off things it couldn't reconcile. But this felt different, wrong. Like a piece of the puzzle that actively didn't fit, and it was scratching at the edges of my sanity. I tossed the note on the counter, staring at it like it was some kind of alien artifact. My heart was still doing a frantic drum solo in my chest. "Okay, Emily," I told myself, my voice a little shaky. "Deep breaths. Rationalize. Someone played a prank. Maybe a kid from the building. Or I sleepwalked and wrote it myself. Yeah, that's it. My memory is so bad, I probably just did it. But the scrawl wasn't mine. It was too jagged, too hurried. The small, empty box on my desk, the one holding that weird, intricate key from yesterday, seemed to mock me from the living room. Another thing that made 0 sense. I walked over, picking up the key, its cold metal feeling heavy in my palm. Swirling patterns on the handle, almost like twisted vines. Or something else, something predatory. I trace it again, hoping for a flicker, a spark of recognition. Nothing, just a blank, echoing void where that memory should be. I grabbed my journal, the thick one, the one filled with all my before the accident notes. I flipped through pages, desperate to find anything, any mention of a cat, any weird key, anything that could explain this creeping strangeness. But the pages were mostly filled with design ideas, client contacts, and then a lot of blank space. Some pages had faded, meaningless scribbles, like half-formed thoughts that never made it to full sentences. Call mom about missing info. Groceries, milk, bread, unreadable word. It was just fragments. Even before the accident, was my memory already this screwed up? A cold dread seeped into my bones. No, 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 I mumbled, shaking my head. The doctor said it was the concussion. The accident, that's the reason. Don't go down that rabbit hole, Emily. But the rabbit hole already had its claws in me. Days turned into a weird, unsettling blur. The notes, my precious notes, the anchors of my life, started to turn on me. I'd write, "buy eggs" on a yellow stick-it, only to find a pink one next to it an hour later saying, "Don't buy eggs, you already have 3 dozen." I'd check the fridge, and sure enough, there they were, 3 damn cartons of eggs. My own notes were lying to me. Or I was lying to myself. My house, usually my safe haven, started to feel like a living, breathing entity, full of piney, malicious tricks. My favorite paperback, a worn copy of Frankenstein that always sat on my bedside table, vanished. I tore the room apart looking for it. Nothing. The next morning, it was sitting under my bed, open to a random page, spine bent. My heart hammered against my ribs when I found it. I was sure I had never left it there. Then there was my coffee mug, the one with the sarcastic cat meme, my absolute go-to. One morning, I reached for it, and there it was, a clean chip missing from the rim. I didn't remember dropping it. I didn't remember anything that could have caused it. It was just broken, like my memory, like my world. "Okay, this is getting ridiculous," I muttered, my voice tight. "I'm losing it, completely, utterly losing my mind." One night, the sound woke me up, a soft scraping sound. Scratch, scratch, scratch. It came from the living room, quiet but persistent. My eyes flew open in the pitch black. My heart started thudding, loud enough to fill the silence of the house. Rats, I thought, trying to force a rational explanation. Just a damn rat, old house, you know. But it sounded heavier, too deliberate for a rat, like something with claws, dragging itself across the floorboards. I reached for my phone, flicking on the flashlight, my hand trembling so hard the beam danced across the ceiling. "Hello?" I called out, my voice barely a whisper. The scratching stopped. The silence that followed was heavier, colder than before. It felt like something was holding its breath, waiting. My skin prickled with goosebumps. I slowly swung my legs out of bed, the floorboards creaking under my feet. Every shadow in the room seemed to stretch and twist into something monstrous. I could almost feel eyes on me, watching from the darkness, even though there was nothing there, just me and the terrifying silence. I didn't move, just sat there, phone clutched in my hand, staring into the dark. My breath hitched in my throat. This wasn't normal. None of this was normal. A few days later, a text popped up on my phone. It was from Jessica, an old friend from college. We hadn't talked in ages. My stomach twisted with a mix of relief and anxiety. Maybe a normal conversation would ground me. "Hey, Emily, long time no talk. Random thought, but remember that insane Halloween party last year at that creepy abandoned warehouse? You totally wiped out and then just kept laughing like a maniac. So epic, LOL. My blood ran cold. Halloween last year? Abandoned warehouse? My mind raced, clawing at the edges of a memory that just wasn't there. Nothing, a complete blank. I remembered being sick, in bed, watching crappy horror movies and eating way too much candy. That was my Halloween, my safe Halloween. My fingers flew across the keyboard, a surge of irritation mixing with the fear. "What are you talking about, Jess? Halloween last year, I was home with the flu. Definitely didn't go anywhere, especially not some abandoned warehouse. You got me mixed up with someone else." Her reply came almost immediately. "Oh, really? Huh. My bad, I guess. With your memory now, makes sense I'd remember wrong." With your memory now. That phrase, it hit me like a physical blow. Not just Jess, everyone. My mom, that guy at the coffee shop who asked if I was feeling better after the crash. My neighbor, Mrs. Gable, always asking if I was remembering to take it easy. It wasn't just about the accident. It was like they were all talking around something, hinting at something before the accident. Something I was supposed to know, but didn't. Like they were all in on a secret, and I was the only one left out. A wave of suspicion, cold and sharp, washed over me. Were they trying to protect me, or were they hiding something? I pushed my phone away, feeling a chill despite the warm afternoon sun streaming through my window. My head pounded. "This is insane," I whispered. "I'm going absolutely insane." That night, sleep wouldn't come. Every creak of the house, every rustle of leaves outside felt amplified, sinister. I kept replaying Jessica's words, turning them over and over in my head. With your memory now. Was it always this bad? Before the accident? No, it couldn't be. The accident was the cause. The single, horrible, undeniable cause, wasn't it? I picked up my phone, mindlessly scrolling, trying to distract myself. My thumb slipped, and then, there it was. Not a social media feed, not a news article, a video clip. Right there in my gallery. It was only about 10 seconds long. I tapped it, my heart jumping into my throat. The screen flickered to life. It was me, but not me. My face was pale, almost green in the dim, flickering light. My eyes were wide, bloodshot, full of something I couldn't quite name. Desperation, raw, naked fear. I was in a room I didn't recognize. Concrete walls, damp, stained. The air looked thick with dust. A single bare bulb hung overhead, swaying slightly, casting dancing shadows. A basement. It looked like a fucking ancient, creepy basement. I was backing away from something, my arms held up in a weak, defensive posture. And then I heard my own voice, hoarse, barely a whisper, thick with terror. "No, I can't do that. I can't. Not again. Please, I can't." My eyes in the video darted to the side, at a shadowy figure just barely visible at the edge of the frame. Tall, dark, just a blur. I couldn't make out any details, but the fear in my eyes, it was real, so real. The clip ended. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the phone. What? The actual fuck? I tried to tap it again. My thumb hovered over the screen. One more time, just one more look. I had to see who that was, what I was doing, what the hell was happening. I tapped. The screen flashed. A cold, stark message appeared. "File corrupted. Cannot play." "No!" I yelled, a strangled cry ripping from my throat. I tapped again, and again. Nothing. The clip was gone. Just vanished. My phone slipped from my sweaty grasp, clattering onto the bed. My breath hitched. Cold sweat poured down my back, plastering my t-shirt to my skin. My hands, they were shaking uncontrollably, like I was freezing. But the room was warm. My vision blurred around the edges. This wasn't a dream. This wasn't a hack. This was... I don't know what this was. My brain screamed for a rational explanation, for something, anything to cling to. But there was nothing. Just the image of my own terrified face, my own desperate whisper. The basement, the shadowy figure, the words, "Not again." My world, already wobbling on shaky foundations, felt like it was crumbling. What was I supposed to believe? What was real? A horrible, sickening certainty began to settle deep in my gut. Whatever happened to me, it wasn't just an accident. It was something far, far worse. And it was still out there, still watching, still messing with me. And I was completely, utterly alone. The file was corrupted. Corrupted. My own eyes had seen it. My own ears had heard it. No, I can't do that. I can't. Not again. Please, I can't. My terrified voice, my terrified face. Then, gone. Just like that. Poof, like it never even existed. My phone still lay on the bed, cold and useless. My hands wouldn't stop shaking, not even a little. I shoved them under my armpits, trying to pin them down, but the tremors just ran through my whole body instead. Every muscle felt strung too tight, buzzing with something raw and electric. Fear, I guess, or maybe just breakdown. My head throbbed, a dull, insistent ache behind my eyes, like someone was trying to hammer their way out of my skull. This couldn't be happening. My brain, the one thing I was trying so hard to fix, was playing tricks on me. Or maybe it wasn't my brain at all. Maybe it was them, whoever them was. The shadowy figure in the video, the thing that made my past self beg, not again. I hauled myself out of bed, legs feeling like rubber. The cold floor on my bare feet was a shock, but it was a grounding shock at least. I stumbled into the kitchen, grabbing a glass and filling it with water. My hand shook so hard, half of it sloshed over the rim, making a little puddle on the counter. My notes, my damn notes, they were scattered everywhere. Yellow stickets, pink ones, blue ones. Buy eggs, don't buy eggs. Call mom, don't call mom, she's mad. It was a mess, a total, utter, unreadable mess. They used to be my anchor, my safety net. Now they were just noise, proof that my world was going sideways. "Emily, get a grip," I muttered, my voice raspy. "You need answers. You need something real." The accident, that was it. The car accident, head trauma, concussion. That's what the doctors said. That's what I remembered. The screech of tires on wet asphalt, the sickening lurch, the impact, then blackness. I'd built my whole story around that, my whole recovery, my whole broken life. If that wasn't it, then what? A cold wave washed over me. I wanted to run, just pack a bag, grab my keys and drive until the city lights were just a distant glow, until I was somewhere I didn't recognize, somewhere nothing recognized me. But then what? My memory would still be with me, my confusion, my terrifying gaps. Running wouldn't fix the prison inside my own head. I had to face it, had to know. Steve, my old neighbor, he was a sweet old guy, always puttering around his garden, a ready smile on his face. We lived next door for years before I moved to this isolated place. He was simple, uncomplicated. Maybe his memories, the ones of me, weren't tangled up in all the medical jargon and my own messed up brain. Maybe he'd remember something, anything, something that could make sense of something. The thought was a tiny flicker of hope in the darkness. He wasn't involved. He wasn't family, trying to protect me by maybe withholding truths. He was just Steve, an innocent bystander who happened to know me before all this. I grabbed my keys, the weird, intricate ones still heavy in my pocket from yesterday. It felt wrong, almost hot against my thigh. I tried to ignore it. Focus. Steve. Answers. As I walked out the door, a sudden flash hit me. Not a full memory, just a sliver, like a quick, grainy screenshot. Darkness. Not an alley, but a room. Concrete, just like the video. And a hand. Not mine. Big, strong, pulling me. Not into something, but out of it. A black hole, or just darkness. And then a sound. A low, sneering laugh. It echoed in my ears, chilling me to the bone. "You can't escape, Emily." The whisper. My own whisper. That same damn voice from the video. My heart hammered. Was that real, or just my mind melting down? I squeezed my eyes shut, tried to push it away. Before I could fully freak out, I remembered something else, something tangible. My old house, the basement. I hadn't properly cleaned it out when I moved, just shoved a bunch of boxes down there. Maybe there was something from before. My frantic search started in my new basement, a small, musty space I rarely visited. Cardboard boxes, dusty and forgotten, old college textbooks, sentimental junk, photo albums I haven't touched in years. I tore through them, throwing things aside, my breath coming in ragged gasps. This felt urgent, desperate, like I was digging for a piece of myself, a missing limb. And then I found it, tucked away at the bottom of a box labeled "Random Stuff, Keep," under a pile of old craft supplies. A small wooden box. Not fancy, just plain, with a tarnished brass clasp. Inside, a few dried flowers, a faded ribbon, and a letter, handwritten, my own messy scrawl. My fingers trembled as I unfolded the paper. It was yellowed at the edges. October 12th. I can't remember things anymore. It's getting worse. Jessica just told me I promised to help her with that art project for the gallery, but I have no memory of it. Said I told her last week. What the hell? I'm forgetting conversations, where I put my keys, even if I've eaten breakfast. It's like pieces of my brain are just gone. Steve asked if I was okay yesterday, said I looked distracted when I was talking to him about the cat. What cat? I don't have a cat. I think something's happening to me. I'm scared. October 12th. The accident was November 15th. 1 month before the crash. 1 month before. My vision blurred. The letter shook in my hands. The date, it was right there, clear as day. My memory problems, they didn't start with the accident. They were already happening. This wasn't a concussion symptom. This was something else. Something older. Something that had been there, festering, before the car ever left the road. I stumbled out of the basement, the letter still clutched tight. My carefully constructed reality, the one where the accident was the simple, logical explanation for everything, splintered into a million tiny shards. I had to see Steve, now, this instant. The drive to Steve's old-fashioned suburban house was a blur. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles were white. My mind was racing, trying to put the pieces together, but they just wouldn't fit. The letter, the video, Jess's text, the "find cat" note, all these little anomalies, these whispers of something off, suddenly screamed in unison. I pulled into his driveway, gravel crunching under my tires, the familiar neat lawn, the carefully tended flower beds, a small, innocent piece of my old life. Steve was out front, watering his roses. He looked up, his face breaking into that easy, friendly smile. "Emily, well, look who it is. Haven't seen you in ages, sweet pea. What a nice surprise." I forced a smile back, trying to keep my voice steady. "Hey, Steve. Yeah, it's been a while. Just, thought I'd drop by." My heart hammered against my ribs like it wanted to claw its way out. Come on in," he said, gesturing towards his porch. "Got some fresh lemonade brewing. Always a pleasure." We sat on his porch swing, sipping lukewarm lemonade. The air was thick and humid, but I felt a strange chill that had nothing to do with the weather. I felt like I was sitting on a ticking time bomb, and I was the bomb. "So," I began, trying to sound casual, failing spectacularly, "how have things been? I actually forgot about a lunch meeting with Jessica the other day. Can you believe it? My memory is just a joke. All those damn lingering effects from the accident." I even managed a bitter laugh, trying to make light of it, to reinforce the narrative I so desperately clung to. The accident. It's all because of the accident." Steve took a slow sip of his lemonade, looking at me with those kind, crinkly eyes. He just shrugged, a small, calm gesture. "Ah, but your memory started getting messed up before the accident, Emily. You remember, don't you? You asked me to look after your cat for a week because you kept forgetting to feed it, said you were getting really worried about it. That was about a month before your crash." The world tilted. I couldn't breathe. "A cat?" I choked out. My voice was a strangled sound, barely a whisper. My mind screamed, "No, I don't have a cat. I've never had a cat." Steve just smiled, his expression perfectly calm, oblivious to the earthquake he'd just unleashed inside my head. "Yeah, a little ginger tabby, cute as a button. Took good care of him for you. Bit odd, though. Never saw him again after that week. Thought you were just too busy with whatever you were doing back then." Ginger tabby. The find cat note. It all clicked into place, but not in a way that brought clarity. It brought chaos. My hands, they were ice cold. My feet, too. Every nerve ending screamed. My stomach twisted into a knot, threatening to revolt. "And," Steve continued, completely unaware of the damage he was doing, "I always thought you were found some distance from the car, not inside it. The police were searching the woods for a while, I heard. But oh well, I must be mistaken." He chuckled softly, as if he'd just made a minor error in a trivial anecdote. But I wasn't chuckling. I was frozen solid. The words hammered into me, each syllable a nail in the coffin of my reality. Before the accident, some distance from the car. My mind raced. No, that's not right. I remembered being trapped. The twisted metal, the pain, the claustrophobia. I remembered it all, clear as day. "No," I whispered, the sound barely audible. "No, that's not. The doctor said I was in the car, trapped. I remember." Steve's smile faltered just a touch. "Oh dear. Well, your memory, you know. Everyone says it's been a bit tricky since the crash. Maybe I just got the details mixed up, huh?" He patted my knee, a comforting, paternal gesture that felt like a slap in the face. Tricky. Mixed up. This kind old man, this sweet, innocent neighbor, he'd just ripped apart every single piece of my understanding of the past 18 months. Every single one. If my memory problems started before the accident, then the accident wasn't the cause. If I was found outside the car, then my vivid, horrifying memory of being trapped inside was a lie, a manufactured memory. But by whom and why? My head started to spin, a dizzying, sickening sensation. The lemonade tasted like ash. My blood ran cold, a terrifying chill that seeped into my bones, through my very marrow. A snake. A cold, venomous snake, coiling its way up my spine, whispering nasty things into my ear. This is a lie. My entire foundation, everything I'd built to keep myself sane, crumbled. It wasn't just a simple medical condition. It was something else, something darker, something hidden. I stood up abruptly, nearly knocking over my glass. I have to go," I stammered, my voice barely working. Steve looked surprised. "Oh, already? Well, it was good to see you, Emily. You take care now." He gave a little wave. I didn't respond, couldn't. I just turned and walked, almost ran, back to my car. The pavement felt like it was shifting under my feet. The perfectly normal suburban street, the gentle breeze, Steve's kind, bewildered face, it all seemed to melt and distort, swirling into a dark, incomprehensible void. Who am I? What the hell was I supposed to believe? And what really happened that rainy night? What actually caused this? This slow, terrifying erosion of my own mind? A horrible, terrifying truth, like a monster waiting in the shadows, was closing in, and I was trapped trapped in a collapsing memory, in a world that wasn't what it seemed. Damn it, what the hell was happening to me?